Hello, it is Wednesday, June 15th, 2022 at 6:21 p.m. Eastern Time, USA 1821. And this is my video journal. I'm Mitch Miller. Today we're going to begin systematically challenging the United States military to a pistol duel or wrestling match. It's over 90 degrees today in Pittsburgh, so it's as good a day as any to begin this process. But first I want to make some other challenges. Number one, and some housekeeping. Housekeeping is, on this video journal situation, I reported a national security threat involving autonomous and semi-autonomous vehicles and how they might strategically be hacked into to assassinate various leadership in the United States or elsewhere. I did not report this to the FBI because they didn't do a very good job investigating the gymnast being sexually assaulted, and I have turned in other things to the FBI and have never even received a courtesy response. We're looking into the matter. Instead, I have written to every Pennsylvania legislator in the Pennsylvania Assembly. I wrote them an email. It was pretty concise. It explained the national security threat. It explained how I want to form a team to investigate how hackable semi-autonomous, autonomous vehicles are and create a report that can be reported directly to the PA Assembly. My suggestion was to reach out to the NSA and other national security agencies to see if they would lend us some computer experts to form the team, and then we would purchase, it could be done relatively cheaply, purchase one stock SUV that can be given to a PA legislator to use while we investigate their vehicle. Now, probably the PA legislator has fleet vehicles, so we would only need to look at one or two of those vehicles to see how hackable it is. But I guarantee you every PA legislator has a at least one private vehicle they use at home, their spouse uses. Some of these vehicles, out of 300-ish government officials, some of them are bound to have semi-autonomous features. So we will let them use the SUV while we check out their vehicle for a few days, their private vehicle. I'll coordinate taking that vehicle around to the different PA legislator, Congress people. And even if they don't have semi-autonomous features, let's just see, you could just, even out of curiosity, see how hackable the Bluetooth and Wi-Fi in those vehicles are. Create a report, item list, and I have some ideas for that. So I reached out to my government, the Pennsylvania government. Any large body of government could do this, and most people in the government are affluent and have the newer vehicles with the semi-autonomous features. So I'm willing to do this with any federal national government too. Say Kenya wants to investigate their vehicles, their leadership's vehicles, we can do it. Germany, if they want to see how many of their federal officials are driving in hackable vehicles, we can do that. I'm willing to come to whatever country is willing to sponsor this investigation, and I don't necessarily need to lead the investigation, but I want to be involved, and you're going to want me to be involved. You want the guy that's leery about autonomous vehicles to be involved in the investigation. You don't want somebody that's going to be paid off by the car companies to be in charge of the investigation. So we'll give Pennsylvania, will they actually hire me? I'll work relatively cheaply. We'll give them 6 months. Government moves slow. I'll be fair. I'll give them 6 months. I also mentioned that I'm an embroiderer, and that if they go through me for their crest logos embroidered or screen printed on their clothing, 30% of my commission goes to subsidizing clothing for people with disabilities. I'm going to send the exact same email in 6 months in the new year. My parents will be at their place in Florida. I'm going to use their address to send it to all of the Florida General Assembly members. Same exact email, but I might leave out the embroidery because coordinating that, I can drive to Harrisburg in 2.5 hours, be at the Pennsylvania Capitol. I cannot be at the Florida Capitol as easily. I can fly down, stay at my parents' place, and coordinate the investigation if the Florida legislature decides to investigate these vehicles. I think it needs to be done. I think it needs to be done sooner than later. Why wait till they start failing? Toyota vehicles already failed. And I'll tell you what I would tell any government official that asked me. These car companies are being willfully ignorant, and they know these cars will fail. What they're hoping will happen is that the taxpayers either bail them out by beefing up cybersecurity, or that the vehicles themselves are deemed by the government unsafe after a certain amount of years because their computer systems fail, and that the vehicles will have to be taken off the road after 20 years by mandate. Then they're going to sell more cars. Instead of designing cars that will last 40, 50 years, the government will say these are unsafe to be on the road, and they'll be able to sell more vehicles. That's my theory. Anyway, that's the housekeeping issue. Hopefully, if PA doesn't act, Florida will. Those are the only two addresses I have to work with. Okay, on to the first challenge. I was watching Reuters News, I believe, and they covered a story out of Bolivia. Bolivia is a South American country that my wife went to for work, I think at least once, maybe multiple times. I would like to travel there someday. A Bolivian Congress member, maybe a senator, a female senator, was investigating gold mining in Bolivia. They're using mercury to mine for gold. She's against it. Some miners were throwing rocks at her. And so I'm going to back her up. As a former coal miner, these Bolivian gold mines are releasing mercury into the waterways which go through indigenous people's land, and it's very environmentally unfriendly practice. So I want to back the indigenous people of Bolivia. So I challenge any mining operator in Bolivia, or any mining operator in Bolivia that uses harmful chemicals and releases them into the environment, and any financer that finances mining operations in Bolivia that use harmful chemicals. I challenge you to a pistol duel with non-lethal pistols, paintball pistols, and the terms are, if I win, you have to cease your environmentally unfriendly mining operations in Bolivia. You have to do it clean. You have to mine in a clean way. No mercury involved. If I lose, all I can offer you is a painting which may be worth millions of dollars someday, a painting I painted, and I can offer you the prototype building pistols that we will use. I will offer you your own set, so that if in 6 months after my loss another individual challenges you to a duel, which is in my peace treaty, after 6 months you can re-challenge. The same person can't re-challenge. I can never challenge you again, but another individual could challenge you to a duel. well practiced with the pistols by then, and you will be able to continue your mining operations if you win the duel, because you'll have your own set of dueling pistols to practice with at your leisure. So that's what we're talking about here. This is the power we have if we start to settle things in a civilized way, in a modern warfare type of way, the new modern warfare. People like Al Gore, an environmentalist, could challenge these operators, these financiers, to duels. He could fly around challenging them to a duel so that they cease their operations and quit ruining the environment all over the globe. And so why doesn't Al Gore, you found the funding for An Inconvenient Truth, the film about global warming, why can't you find money to help me build these prototype dueling pistols to start this weapons company? Furthermore, Barack Obama, I've challenged him to a wrestling match. He makes hundreds of thousands of dollars speaking around the country. Why won't they fund my weapons company? Barack Obama could challenge people to duels, and we could solve a lot of things and at least end bad practices for the environment in this way. If these leaders actually are interested in what they say in saving the environment and curbing global warming. So I have a lot of projects on the line here. I'm not getting any funds in my GoFundMe account for my traffic magnet business. I'm not getting anyone approaching me about funding this weapons company. Maybe I will when I make the peace treaty public. But you can't tell me that the United States military doesn't know who I am. Someone high up at least knows who I am and could fund this thing. So I'm looking at the individuals in the military. Get signing bonuses. You can't spare $1,000 to at least build the prototype dueling pistols so that I have a set so that I can start challenging people to duels. But that's the way we can distribute these dueling pistols, is to the indigenous people so that they can defend their land, and to the ultra wealthy so that they can practice to defend their corrupt way of doing business. And a good anti-terrorism strategy, United States military, is to change the way U.S. business people do business. They take advantage of environmental, safety, and labor rules all around the globe because of our military might. They exploit the environment, all the people, the workers, the safety situations, and they control the media here so that we don't even hear about it in the United States to care where our products are coming from. So if you want to stop terrorism, stop American business practices, exploitation of the world market. It's the best anti-terrorism strategy. So I'm challenging the individuals of the military now. I'm going to systematically work down rank by rank on this video series. Some weeks it might just be the challenge, a minute or two. Some weeks I might have something else I want to say. We're going to start with the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Last time I checked, there were 5 of them for the 5 branches of the military. There may be 6 now that there's a Space Force, but I think that's part of the Air Force. So Joint Chiefs of Staff. The Joint Chiefs of Staff of the United States military. You may say I'm a whack job schizophrenic, but you can't say I'm a coward, because you blasted me with your top secret satellites, scrambled my brain multiple times, tortured me. You didn't even if you didn't deploy that technology on my house, you didn't do a very good job of protecting it. So, Joint Chiefs of Staff of the United States military, I challenge you to a duel with non-lethal pistols, paintball pistols, but since we don't have the prototypes unless you've developed them, I challenge you to a wrestling match. A wrestling match, and here are the terms. If you win, I delay challenging any other ranks of the military down the line. I delay challenging any other ranks of the military for 6 months. So if there are 5 Joint Chiefs of Staff and they all win their pistol duel if we had the prototypes but they don't develop it, if they all 5 win their pistol duel or their wrestling match, they delay me challenging the next step in the ladder, the 5-star generals of the Air Force or whatever I'm finding here on my phone, 5-star or 4-star generals. They delay that by 2.5 years if they all win. If I win, if they win, they delay 6 months for each of them. Plus they get a painting or a piece of photography, their choice. And yeah, that's pretty much all I have to offer. If I win, they have to find room in their budget to fund my weapons company. If they cannot come to an agreement to fund my weapons company, they must use their own personal assets to start to fund this weapons company. In return for their funding, at least $1,000 per person, I will either give them a painting, a digital piece of photography, or a stock certificate which allows them ownership, partial ownership of the weapons company. So I challenge you to a duel. You can accept the terms, or I'll continue to challenge all the way down to the grunts in the military. Maybe they have $1,000 saved up, and they'll take me up on a wrestling match because they want a piece of my art, they believe in me, or maybe they'll throw the wrestling match so that I get funding from my weapons company. This is a non-lethal weapons company that could, and if you're afraid that the government's going to mandate smart weapons or take away guns, you're crazy. It could expand into smart weapon technology, guns that the triggers lock out when they're around certain radio frequencies that are deployed at churches, schools, and other civilian facilities that tend to attract mass shooters. That's where it could expand. It starts with a set of dueling pistols, paintball guns, where the triggers lock out after several seconds after one fires. It links up with a pace speaker system that allows 2 people to pace off, turn, and fire. So that's pretty much all I wanted to do today. I'll wait for Al Gore to contact me. I think I saw a news clip that his daughter is very politically active. She was arrested for something. Maybe she'll approach me. Al Gore's getting up there in age. But yeah, that's the ability we have if we start to accept this new form of modern warfare. And I'll say this to the Joint Chiefs of Staff. If you do not accept my duel, every death at the hands of an act of war is now on your head. It's now on your hands. Every death due to an act of war is now your responsibility, because you will not embrace and help legitimize this form of modern warfare. Now, I'm not saying that we shouldn't have nuclear weapons, we shouldn't have the best military technology, and that we should totally demilitarize or disarm. I'm not saying that. You need decent democracies like the United States to control these and push forward these powerful weapons as a safety net if we ever did have to revert to an archaic type of war involving death, destruction. But let's move into a new form of modern war in which civilized people handle things in a civilized way, with either non-lethal pistol duels or the world's oldest sport, wrestling matches. So, it's on you. If you do not legitimize this or act to validate this form of this peace treaty and this form of military action, then every death as a result of an act of war is on you, Joint Chiefs of Staff. It's not on me. I have no power, very little money, and I'm trying to stand up to the powers that be to get this done. Will you help me? I'm asking for your help. Thanks for watching. Join me next time. I'll probably put this on the Windows computer on the summer solstice, the day after the summer solstice. So why pay Apple prices on the dark web for this video when you can wait for it to be released on Windows, right? Eventually it'll probably get there. Thanks for watching, and to quote from Die Hard, welcome to the party, pal.